Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Farm to Fork podcast, episode 2. The podcast where we talk about the day to day, the ins and outs, the intricacies of our lovely hospitality industry. I am your host with the most, Jacob, aka Lord Riss, aka Neil Strongarm, aka Chef Sexy or Chef Daddy, depending on who you ask. And yeah, before we get into this, I'm gonna get a couple stuff out the way. Just to start, number one, I'm filming with natural daylight today, so for YouTube watchers, if the lighting gets changed a little bit throughout this, don't worry about that. That's okay. That's yeah, I'm filming with one camera today as well, so bear with me. Um, yeah, we're here. I missed you guys. You guys supported the fuck out of the last episode, so thank you for that. That means a lot, for real. Like way more than I expected, if I'm being honest with you. So that's really cool. It's really cool to see everybody sharing, everybody DMing. I appreciate you. That was really cool. So thank you for that. If you're wondering, I'm drinking it's called a French Connection. Let's get a little, this is Hennessy and Grand Marnier. And if you're wondering like what time of the day it is, don't worry about that. That doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? We're just vibing out. Man, them are still on vacation, so it's okay. It's what they say. It's 5 p.m. somewhere. Thank you. So yeah, I've been meaning to get this episode out a little sooner, but things happen. I got sick. I don't know. I get sick a lot. Like, I don't know if I get sick a lot or if I just never completely heal because I'm active and I'm doing things and I don't have time to let a sickness stop me. It sounds like I'm flexing. It's not a flex. It's actually horrible, but maybe I just stay sick. Anyway, I was sick when I was supposed to film this. So that wasn't too great. Then Valentine's Day came up, which was fun too. So yeah, I've been meaning to get this one out, but here we are. We're doing something different today. No guest. A lot of you guys told me that the first episode was great. Thank you for that. But that I should have taken a little bit more time to introduce myself, what I'm all about, what I've been doing. And you're right. So we're kind of like backtracking here a little bit. We're gonna go back to the source. It's hot as hell in here. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm wearing a hoodie, whatever, just let it be. Yeah, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit today, and this episode is about me. I love talking about myself, so should be a walk in the park type shit. So yeah, like I said in the last episode, I'm gonna give you guys a little before I get into everything, I'm gonna give you guys a little insight into my life presently, what I got going on, stuff like this. So where do I start? I call it vacation because I'm not like working as hard as I should be. So, but I'm still working. So, but like, I'm on vacation, but I'm working, whatever. I'm in between jobs right now, which sounds like when someone's broke as fuck and like they don't have a job and too lazy to go get a job and they're like, yeah, I'm in between jobs. They're damn well they're not gonna go get a job, but whatever. I'm actually working, so I left my last job to go to a new place. It's not a secret anymore. This place is called Nama Omakase. I'm gonna have a little pop up, somewhere here. That's my next step. I'm gonna be working with some phenomenal chefs. I'm super, super excited for this new chapter. It's gonna be it's a modern fine dining Japanese restaurant. It's gonna open in Viger. We're looking to open pretty soon. So stay on the lookout for that. If you guys follow me on my Instagram and all my pages, I've been posting a lot about these things. So keep a lookout for that. Super excited. But this is a restaurant that's being opened up from the ground up. It's being built right now. So construction in Montreal gets a little techie sometimes. So the dates are getting pushed back. So in the meantime, I'm doing like a little bit of freelance work here and there. Easy stuff, just to stay active. Just to keep moving, not to be at home doing nothing, or you know what I mean. But also to stay sharp with your skills, because like any skill, you gotta to be on top of your game. You gotta practice that. You gotta do it often. So I'm taking this little vacation time, I'd say, to sharpen up on some skills and stuff like that. Otherwise, well, this is this is this is like completely left from what I'm saying, but shit's been crazy recently. I went to Pharmaprix the other day, and listen, I'm not like, we all know inflation. Yes, it's happening. Things are expensive, but there's there's nothing you can do about it, right? What are you gonna do? Like, not put gas in your car? You're gonna not buy food? Yeah, it's expensive, but whatever. You gotta do it. So I went to buy some deodorant. You know what I mean? I'm in the deodorant aisle. I see one, well, the one that I normally get. Shout out Old Spice. Bro, it was $10.99, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. But whatever. I pick it up, and I'm like, I pick it up. I'm not really one to, once again, it's not a flex. I'm not really one to look at prices because I'm gonna buy it anyway, right? So I pick it up. I get to the cash. The guy scans it. He says, "This is $10, right?" And then I really that's when I registered in my head. I was like, "Damn, yeah, it's $10." So, but yeah, I still bought it, of course, because no choice, bro. It's getting real hectic out here. But whatever. It's a part of life, brother. That's a part of life. So, but yeah, that was. You can tell how not busy I've been, because that's like an important part of my life. Damn, that's kind of sad, actually. Anyway, I also I also went to a restaurant that I've been wanting to go to for a while. I went to Vin Mon Lapin for Valentine's Day with my girlfriend, and it was crazy. For those of you who don't know, Vin Mon Lapin is the number one restaurant on Canada's 100 best. It's here in Montreal, yes. Shout out to Montreal. That's big. It's huge. Shout out to Marc-Olivier Frappier for a wonderful dinner. It was crazy. It was awesome. Everyone knows their stuff, man. It's just like, you get in, you're greeted super nice. You get sat. Your waitress is there. She knows the entire menu like the back of her hand. The wine list is wonderful. If you're more of a cocktail person, they don't have any they don't have house cocktails. They don't have cocktails like a cocktail card. So it's really like wine based, hence the name Vin Mon Lapin. So it's a wine bar. But yeah, it was fantastic. I have literally nothing to say. Nothing to say. There's one dish that I didn't really like, which was it was like a pork head coquette, which in itself was really tasty, but there was like a lot of radicchio on the plate, and I'm like, I hate radicchio. It's too bitter. It's just not good for me. So that was my only problem. I had one of the best desserts I've ever had in my life over there. It was like a buckwheat cake. um, with like a buckwheat honey, homemade mascarpone, honey tuile, and it got like served with a nice junmai sake, which was really cool. So overall, great experience. I'm really happy. Um, yeah, and it wasn't even as expensive as I'd expect it to be. To be honest with you, I paid at the end of everything, it was 465, which is like it's cool. I've seen more. So yeah, um, that's going on with me. I also recently just accepted a um consulting job, chef consulting job. Um, Crazy. You know, it is what it is. I'm gonna start that sometime this week. Um, but like I said, this is all just preparing for Nama, preparing for that higher level, preparing for, you know. So I want you guys to come on this journey with me. It's gonna be freaking amazing. So yeah. Um, so we're gonna get down to business. Um, like I said, a lot of you guys asked me to speak a little bit more about myself, uh, my journey, all the stuff I've been doing, etc., etc. So yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna start from the beginning, and yeah, where do I start? Okay, so let's go all the way back to, well, how I got my like how I why cooking is a route that I chose, and um from really young, from like since I was a child, since I could remember, to be honest with you. I've always been around food. um I'm talking like 3 4 years old, with my grandma, with my mom in the kitchen. They're making food for church. They're cooking food every single day, and I'm in the kitchen. You know, not necessarily cooking food as well, but just being around it, seeing the way it's prepared. I'm washing dishes. I'm there. I'm in the process. So, um, that's that's my first look at it. I'd watch a lot of TV as well. Um, the one I remember the most is PBS. PBS, you had a whole bunch of cooking shows on there. Um, and it's not it's not big chefs. There's no Gordon Ramsays on there. There's no Marcos on there. There's no, you know what I mean? It's like test kitchen stuff, which to me was like even greater because it's super informative. I'm sitting there and I'm watching them make 5 different kinds of chocolate cake with more cocoa powder, less cocoa powder, more baking soda, less baking soda. And they're showing you the effects. They're showing you what having little or too much of this does, right? So in my head already, I'm gaining a whole bunch of knowledge that I'm not even aware of. For me, it's just like, oh well, I want the one with more baking soda and more cocoa powder because it comes out better. They're telling you why, so you're getting that's super cool. I'm really happy that I got there. Um, yeah, and that's back in the day where I didn't have the Food Network. I didn't have all these cooking shows. I had PBS. That was my shit. That's what I was watching. So from a child, I'm watching these instead of cartoons. Really, you know. If I'm staying at home, the cartoons normally start at like 3 p.m. when the kids finish school, but I'm not in school. So from 12 p.m. to 2:45, it's cooking shows, and I'm watching cooking shows every day, waiting for my cartoons to come on. So that's like subconsciously, it's just going and it's building and it's building. Fast forward a couple years, um, and now I have the Food Network, you know, and it's the only channel I'm watching, if we're being honest here. Um, I'm with my cousins, with my sister, um, and we're watching. Once again, we're not watching big chefs do these things. Yeah, we're watching some competition cooking, but a lot of it is home cooks. It's those broadcasts. It's like what's her name? Oh, I forgot her name. Anna something. There's Anna something. There's Rachel Ray. Um, there's Michael Smith. There's Ricardo. All these guys at home basically teaching you how to cook, how to make a recipe, how to, how to work with these products. And me and my cousin, me and my sister were there, and we're writing these recipes down, and we're making them, we're trying them, we're making donuts, we're making all this shit, just because it looks cool, and like this is what we know, this is what we're watching, and it like, who, of course, who doesn't want to make their own donuts, so super super lit. um yeah, and I have a very vivid memory. My sister's gonna love this one. um Me and my sister, we used to we created our own TV show, our own cooking show. We had, it wasn't even Play-Doh, brother. This was, I think it was called Fimo. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like Play-Doh, but it's not. I don't know. And we're taking this, we're molding it into meals. We're making spaghetti and meatballs. We're making burgers that we're making by hand, crinkling the lettuce, making tomatoes, all that stuff. Um, and we would present it and we'd get judged on our fake food. It's insane. And then when the Fimo part was done, eventually we ended up with real food. We were in the kitchen making eggs. We were making this. We're making that. We're making bread. So it became, we got a name for the show. It's called Cooking with Carlos. Um, and yeah, and like the catchphrase was "Cooking with Carlos, coming to real life," which, what does that mean? Who the fuck is who the fuck is Carlos? Nobody knows. But yeah, we just made this out of thin air, and like I never thought it'd be anything more than what it was, but that was us. That was what we were doing. So shout out to Ebbs, love you. Yeah, it's lit. So yeah, let's keep fast forwarding. Did that for a little while. And well, Cooking with Carlos was kind of like, well, it was like my into cooking, to making food and stuff like this, and it's little stuff. I'm like chopping vegetables. I'm making eggs. I'm making spaghetti. Uh, Shout out to my cousin Jada, by the way. She I remember her telling me, I made eggs with her. I made eggs for her once, and this is down the line. Like, I made eggs for her when I was 12 years old. She tells me when I'm like 17 or 18 or whatever, when I started like working in kitchens and like actually doing stuff. She's like, from the day that I saw you make those eggs, I knew you were gonna do like some crazy shit, because those are like the best eggs I've ever had or whatever. And I was like, damn, that's super nice, because it's like, it meant a lot to me, to be honest with you, because like I said, in the time I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. So super cool. Yeah, so now we're fast forwarding a couple years. At this point now, I don't know if this is like summer 2013 or 2014. But I spent the summer at my aunt's place. And that was super cool, and that was a huge like turning point for me, because, well, I'm getting older and I'm starting to think about what I'm gonna do with my life, low key. You at this point, I'm in Sec 2 going into Sec 3. It's when you're in grade 9 or something. Grade 10 is when you got to start thinking, like really thinking, what am I gonna do? So I'm with my aunt, and well, for those of you who don't know my aunt, which is probably none of you guys, um, great cook, fucking great cook. Everything she touches is just so good. Uh, from food to desserts, and I was like, yo, like, uh, for me, it was just my aunt knows how to cook, and that's lit. But then she told me that she went to culinary school, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Um, I'm not exactly sure of the story as if she no yeah. So she went to do a pastry course, but the pastry course was full, so she ended up doing a professional cooking diploma. Um, and yeah, she's telling me all these stories about her in school, all the cool stuff that she learned. Um, stories about her teachers, stories about all this stuff, and I'm like, oh damn, that sounds pretty interesting. And she's like, if it's something you want to do, you could look into it. This school here, um, great teachers, they really care about you. Da 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 da. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm gonna think about that for sure. At the time, I was playing trumpet. Um, I genuinely thought that that was gonna be um my career. That's how I was gonna bring home the bacon. I was uh I was playing trumpet. I had I was um morning, lunch, after school. I was in the music department, practicing, playing with my friends, trying to be, the best you can be. And especially like when you realize that you actually can do this, or you have a talent for it, it pushes you even more. So I would go to school. School starts at 8:45. I'd be at school at 7 a.m. until literally 7 p.m. Um, just focusing on music. We're doing competitions, we're doing concerts, we're doing festivals. Um, we got gold. We won the gold medal at all our competitions in Sherbrooke, in Montreal, um, in Ottawa. We won gold in all of our stuff. We played. I was in four bands, I believe. We um, played at the International Jazz Festival of Montreal, which was beautiful. I got picked to be in a band um, with the best student musicians in Quebec. There were 17 of us. I got picked. I got the honor of being picked, um, which was a huge moment for me. And yeah, so I really thought that this was gonna be, the way that it was gonna go. I fast forward um, to being 16 and having to make my choice, and I really don't know. I have my audition at the Cégep Saint Laurent booked. I have my interviews for the Pearson School of Culinary Arts booked on the same day, which is crazy. Um, and I have no idea what to do. I'm booking meetings with my guidance counselor, and looking back at it, I don't know if it was okay for her to tell me what she like. I don't know if they're supposed to help you or show you pros and cons in both aspects, but she like dead ass was like, listen, not everyone is gonna need you to perform live music for them, but everybody is gonna need to eat. And I was like, oh shit, that's very, very true. Very, very true. Meaning no matter what, you're gonna find work as a cook, as a chef, as someone making food. Whereas a musician, it's not guaranteed. Um that day I made the decision. I was like, fuck this music shit. I'm gonna go cook. And I'm very, very glad that I made that decision because, well, I know a lot of people in the music industry right now, who are not, who, well, didn't enjoy they're not enjoying what they do, or a lot of people that went into this and ended up realizing that this was not for them, or this was not what it was made to be. Uh, so I'm glad I made that decision. Um, and yeah, so shout out to my aunt who really who planted that bug in me to go to culinary school, because I would not have been where I am today. So thank you. Um, yeah, I went to culinary school. Uh, I got a wake up call for real, for real, for real at the beginning of culinary school. Um, I'm gonna anyway. I went straight out of high school. I got my diploma straight to culinary school. So I'm the youngest kid in the class. I'm 17 years old. All these guys are the youngest ones are a little bit older than me, but everyone else is, in their 30s, and they got kids. Some of them are 28, trying to, pursue their passion, their dream. I'm just like, fuck it, I got nothing else. So I'm here, so it's gotta work. Um, yeah, I was not taking it seriously at the beginning. Um, I was still in the high school mindset of, like skipping school or going in when I felt or coming in late. And I would say about 2 weeks into school, I got sat down with the headmaster. I don't know if that's her title, but she's like, listen, uh, if you don't show up to 3 more classes, we're gonna have to expel you. We're gonna have to kick you out of the program, and you're gonna, because it's not fair for your classmates or whatever. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And then from that day, I was like, you know, all right, I'm gonna focus on this and take it seriously. Um, and that's exactly what I did. I was listen. I don't want to say one of the best in my class, but let's be honest here. Um, it, I think cooking is just a whole lot of logic. So, and it's also knowing when knowing when to be, when someone's trying to give you good advice or when they're trying to coach you. And people saw that the teachers saw that I was young, that I'm 17, and I had ambition, and that I really wanted to do this and I wanted to learn. So they were like, they helped me out with that. Um, one of my questions is to one of the questions for later is to talk about the importance of culinary school. And I'm going to get into that a little later. But yeah, um, during my culinary school, I have 2 stages. So I get to, you get to leave your school environment and go work in the real world, um, with professionals. And I got sun in my eyes. It's crazy. With real professionals, and see how it really is. So that's your first taste of the real world if you haven't been working in restaurants before. I get my first stage at a hotel. Um, the sous chef is a guy that had graduated from my program, from my school, a couple years prior. So that was cool to see. For real, it was cool to see that so quick after school you can get into a position of of leadership, of if you put enough hard work in. So that was really cool to see. I did that for, I think it was a month. I got hired there, so that was my in. So while I'm in culinary school, I'm also working part time. So that was really cool, getting good experience there. Um, my second stage, which was my favorite one actually. I'm gonna say the name. It's called Hopkins. Uh, People from NDG, you guys know about Hopkins. The real ones know about Hopkins. Hopkins was like, is it's to this day is the greatest restaurant that I've worked at. Unfortunately, they had to close down permanently. Um, but I remember going where was I going every day? Anyway, I don't know. I was spending a lot of time on Monkland. Monkland is the street that it was on, and I would always see those guys in their green aprons outside smoking, looking all cool, and I was like, I want to be a part of those guys. So when I got the chance to stage at a fine dining restaurant, there's literally no place else that I wanted to go. I wanted to go work for Liam, uh, learn the most from these guys, and just and that's what I did. Um, Sent him an email, send my letter of I don't know what you call it, just like a letter telling him how bad I want to work for him and stuff. Takes me on as a stagiaire, which is super cool. Um, they ended up hiring me as well after my stage. I worked there for a little bit. Um, in between that, um, these guys all come from a specific restaurant, and that they were talking about it for quite a long time. And I was very, very curious about it. So I went to see what was up with that, and I could not hang. And it still haunts me to this day, but whatever. Um, yeah. So at this point, I'm working two jobs. And I'm still going to school. Um, I graduated from school shortly after that. Um, and then, yeah, for whichever reason, I forgot what reason it was. Well, no, I didn't forget. Um, Liam stepped down from his head chef position at Hopkins. Um, and well, at that point, I didn't really want to work at that place anymore because I really came for him. So I ended up leaving that place as well. Um, so at this point, I'm just working full time at the first hotel. Um, and then, well, my life kind of gets put on halt. Uh, I get appendicitis, which is not cool at all. That shit fucking hurts so bad. Um, I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. I thought it was a UTI. I don't know. Um, Hunched over, I couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. Um, it's a little parentheses. They took my appendix out and it burst as they were taking it out. And apparently, if that bursts inside you, you can die. So I almost died. Um, yeah, shout out to that. uh, yeah. So that wasn't too cool. Uh, uh, so I leave. I'm on leave of absence. For quite a little while. I get back to work. So I'm on leave of absence, and then I fall into my vacation because it was like this is around my birthday. I think I'm not sure actually, but I fall into some kind of vacation as well. So I'm not working at the hotel. At this point, I get a phone call from my buddy Mustafa, who's working at another hotel. Um, and he calls me for my friend from culinary school, and he says like, we're looking for a chef de partie at the hotel. I gave them your name, so if you want to come work, let's do it. I was really stoked because well, it was a super nice looking hotel. Um, I get to come in as a CDP, which is super cool. Get to, you know, there's two restaurants in there in that hotel. There's a French brasserie and there's a Japanese restaurant. I have no experience. Well, I have barely any experience in a Japanese restaurant. I understand the basics, but you know, so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna come work at the brasserie and it's gonna be super dope. I give my 2 weeks at the hotel. I start working with my buddy Mustafa. Um, but what I didn't know is that they had different plans for me, and they put me in the Japanese restaurant. So that was that was new for me. I wasn't just there slicing onions or chopping green onions. I was there actually like put me in it. So I stayed there for quite a while. I stayed there for a total of 4 years. I started off as a chef de partie, worked my way up to sous chef, um, and eventually chef de cuisine, which was super big for me. I became the youngest chef in hotel history at 22 years old. Um, Still super, it was looking back at it. Um, it was, some people would say it was very early, which, a chef at 22 years old, you don't really see that ever. To be honest, you don't see that ever. Um, but the things I was doing, the things that if you saw, you would understand. As I can't put it into better words than that. If you know, you know. Um, so that was super cool. I remember like the before becoming a sous chef, before like realizing that it was an attainable goal for me. Um, I was working alongside some other chefs who were at least twice my age, with with three, 4 times the experience that I had, and I see us gunning for the same position. Um, it scared me and it motivated me at the same time, because on one hand I'm like, okay, dope. I'm at this point I'm 20. I'm 20 years old, or I'm 19 years old, and this guy is damn near 50, and we're gunning for the same spot, which means that I'm super super um advanced for my age. I'm at a level where I'm at a very very high level, higher than the people around me, higher than, if I can, if we can both be gunning for the same spot, then it means that I'm doing something right. But also, the part that scared me was like, this guy's 50 and he's potentially losing his spot to a 19-year-old. Is this like the ceiling? Is this the cap? Is this where I'm gonna be when I'm 50? Is fighting against a 19-year-old for my spot as a chef? So it made me think. It really made me think. But yeah, it was an opportunity I couldn't let slip through my fingers. Um, just because, yeah, everybody, everyone, when you're doing this, everybody's different, of course, but your dream is to be a chef. Your dream is to run a kitchen, have a team. Um, and yeah, I guess it was, by default, kind of. I had my head chef at that point. He was burnt out. He was burnt out. He went on vacation. His old sous chefs, um, just let him down. He'd go on vacation. Everybody quit. Everyone left. I was the one that was still there, standing, grinding it out. He came back to a new team. Um, no chefs. While he was gone, who was the one taking care of shit? It was me. When he was burnt out, he taught me a lot. Of course, I think he was grooming me for the position of like, looking back at it. Um, but I had to handle a lot of stuff just as a CDP, just as a chef de partie. I was doing basically the chef duties. Um, Not to the best, obvious to the best degree, because I didn't really have training in this. But the more as time progressed, I was like, yeah, I got the hang of this. I can do this. So yeah, I forgot to mention that before this. Well, during this time, actually, I'm also freelancing. I'm working for the Joe Beef guys, doing catering and stuff like this. So that was cool. I got to work with a fine bunch of guys, um, who taught me a lot as well. And those guys are hard as fuck. They'll tell you, like, if you're messing up or doing something wrong, they'll tell you. So that was really cool to have that kind of experience under my belt. Anyway, um, So yeah, I became chef at 22 years old. No, 21. How old am I? I'm 23. Yeah, I became chef at 22, but sous chef was at 21. Um, no, that's not right. Yes, that's right. Sous chef at 21. Chef de cuisine at 22, and then yeah, So I was there a total of 4 years. Um, I got to meet a lot of really fun people, fine people, uh, create menus. Um, you know what I mean? Build a team, train guys, do all that stuff that you dream of doing. You know what I mean? Um, During my tenure as head chef, restaurant we were number 30 on TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is well, you guys know TripAdvisor probably. It's like Yelp. It's like I don't know the other ones, but it's a reviewing app. Uh, Tourists they use when they're uh, Jesus, I can't speak. Vacationing throughout the world. Where to go eat? Where's the best restaurant? So when I became head chef, we were number 30. Um, and in about 4 months, 4 or 5 months, we hit the number one spot on TripAdvisor. So that was cool. And that was, just another kind of another indication of like you're good, you got this. Because no matter what, um, especially becoming a chef at such a young age, being in a place where guys are envious of you, or you have guys that don't think you deserve the spot, or you have a chef that he went through this and it took him 20 years to get where he was getting to, so you being in that spot, you don't deserve it and you're a piece of shit or whatever. You got to dealing with all of that is going to kind of it's going to kind of impose like some imposter syndrome on you. um you feel like you're like you don't deserve your spot, or it's all luck, or you're not as good as you think you are. Which, first of all, you're not as good as you think you are. You're never as good as you think you are. When I wanted to be head chef, when I was sous chef, and it took me a year and a half to get it, I needed that year and a half to actually practice and train. Because if I had jumped immediately into being head chef, I would have drowned and it wouldn't have been well. So you're not as good as you think you are, but you're on the right path. So getting back to the TripAdvisor, that really helped. That like solidified in me that like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Um, the shit like it's working. Now, what pushed me to do this podcast as well, um, was the fact that like, being a head chef at 22 years old, yeah, you make history. Yeah, you're the first one to do it. Yeah, it's amazing. But if you don't do anything with that, you're just going to be another 40-year-old chef at this random place that used to be chef when he was 22. But there's nothing more. So you have to take this. You got to use this as a stepping stone, as a platform, and then you got to branch out and do what you got to do. I spent 4 years at that last Japanese restaurant, which for some people is too long to spend at one place. If you're not gonna settle down and do your career there, you shouldn't be spending 4 years at one place. For me, it was different because I was still progressing during that time. I wasn't just stagnant, chilling there, not doing anything. I was progressing. I was learning. I was seeing new things, figuring everything out. So it's a little different in my situation. But yeah, like I said, you're 22, you got to do something with it. You got to go work with the greats. You got to travel. You got to get your name out there. You got to do all these things. And so, yeah, a lot of people also think that if you're a cook, and I'm talking to all the cooks out there, they think that if you cook, then that's the only thing that you can do. or that's the, the only goal that you can work towards is being the best chef in the world, being a Michelin starred chef. Sure, who doesn't want that? I know I want that personally, but it doesn't mean that it's not the same path for everybody. Because I know some rock stars, guys that I work with, that I'd go to fucking war with, great cooks, great personalities, great people, but let's be honest, you're not Michelin star level. Of course, you're not going to be Michelin star caliber right now, but you can see this kind of thing. You can see the drive and the passion, and well, sorry, but the age plays along into it too. If you're 35 and you're working at this place, the odds of you becoming a Michelin starred chef, it's significantly lower than the same ambitious 18-year-old kid who is, you know what I mean? So you got to watch out for that stuff. Yeah. It led me to this thought process led me to this podcast as well, in the sense of how do I not how do I get my name out there? Because if you know me, you know that I wanted to start a podcast for a very, very long time. Um, I just didn't know about what it could be about, or you know. But I really wanted people to see my face, um, know my story, also know what we go through on a daily basis, or you know. But what really, really got me into starting this podcast was the bear. For those of you who don't know, the Bear is a show on, well, it's on Disney Plus. About he's the best chef in the world. He goes and he takes over his brother's restaurant, which is a it's a local restaurant that serves sandwiches and stuff like this, with a team of like older people, or people who don't really have that classical training, the same kind of training that he has, as the number one chef of the highest or best restaurant in the world. And it just shows the everyday process, the everyday life that you got to deal with in a kitchen, outside of the kitchen, your familial situation with girlfriends, money, all that stuff. A lot of chefs can't watch the show. They say it gives them PTSD. Me, I loved it. I loved it because, well, I got my show. You know what I mean? I got a show that I can finally relate to. I have, I have friends that are lawyers, so they watch Suits because Suits is their shit. I have friends that are nurses, and so they watch Grey's Anatomy. I never had that show as a cook or as a chef. So The Bear coming out was like, oh damn, it's a show that I can, that I can relate to, or that like, if I want my friends to understand what I'm going through, watch The Bear. But what got me was that like a lot of people got into The Bear. People that have no ties to the culinary world. Besides, they might have some friends, but these are regular people watching The Bear and enjoying The Bear and liking The Bear. And I was like, yo, that's really cool. Like, people are, taking an interest to our lives. But now it goes so much deeper. There's so much more. So yeah, I was like, that's it. That's it. How can I get more people to have their eyes on what we're doing? This podcast, this is, you know what I mean? I get a whole bunch of people from all over. I call it farm to fork because it's a process of, the entire process of your food coming from a farm, being transported, being transformed, being cooked, being served. It may seem like nothing, but it's such a huge fucking process that involves a lot of human beings, a lot of human interactions, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Like, this is not an easy. It's not an easy field. I'm not saying that any field is easier than another, But this one especially, you have so much to. You got so many things that you got to keep um, in your mind, um, and it's all it's really really tough. So if I can show an insight on this for me, like I did my part and I did what I needed to do. So that's how we got here. Um, and yeah, that's my story. I don't think there's much that I left out. Uh, no, that's it. That's it. Not the longest story, but we're still continuing. I am 23 years old. I started cooking when I was 17. I'm not good at math, so I'm not even gonna bother to do that on camera. It's like 7 years that I've been doing this. Uh, took me 7 years to become a chef. Um, and yeah, we're just we're doing the thing. We're doing it. I don't see myself doing anything else. I love this. I love this shit. To be honest with you, just like I know it sounds cheesy, but just doing what you love. You know what I mean? I don't see myself sitting at a desk, fucking writing emails all day. Well, actually, that's one other thing that I want to get into. There's a misconception about. Is it a misconception? People think chef. First of all, a chef and a cook is not the same thing. Let's just separate that now. Chef and a cook, completely not the same thing. But what I noticed, or what you realize when you're in the field, is that the higher you climb this ladder, the less and less you get to touch the food. Being like, food is no longer your number one priority. Let's say you want to open your own restaurant. Forget that. You're not cooking. You know what I mean? Even becoming a chef de cuisine or an executive chef, sure, yes, you're in a restaurant, so necessarily you're going to be involved with the food, but it's not your number one priority. Your number one priority is, it's making sure that the ship stays afloat. You're focused on ordering. You're focused on scheduling. You're focused on maintenance. Um, you're focused on food costs. You're focused on labor cost. And especially if you're in, let's say, a hotel setting, now you have bosses and directors and all these different sectors in this one hotel that you gotta keep in mind. So that's very, very important. If you want to become a chef, you have to understand that food is not your number one priority. If you want to cook food for the rest of your life, there's no problem with that. But you're gonna be a line cook. You're gonna be a chef de partie. You're not gonna have to worry about, oh fuck, this guy called in sick today. What are we gonna do? Or this guy hurt himself. You gotta fill it. You gotta file documents, fill in paperwork, do all these things, find replacements. Uh, you know what I mean? So that's something to look out for sure. Um, what else do we got here? Yeah, I'm gonna get into the Q&A portion of the show. I don't want to keep you guys for too long because I know y'all motherfuckers are busy, got shit to do. So do I. Just joking. Well, yeah. So during every episode, I like to do this little segment where I ask you guys to, send in questions or send in topics that you guys want me to talk about during the episode. And well, y'all sent some questions in actually. So I'm gonna pick out some interesting ones. I don't know if I should say the names. No, I'm not gonna say the name. I'm gonna say the name. So the first question comes from Jelaine, and she asks. Sorry, let me just get this up here. how do you stay motivated in a kitchen? Um, Me personally, it's not hard. It's hard to do what we do. Super physical environment. You're working long hours on your feet, standing. You're in pain. You're hurt. You developed an alcohol addiction. Um, it's hard to do this on a regular, consistent basis. But for me, it's simple. The way I motivate myself is I think about, first of all, how far I came, because you know it's important you look back. I'm not saying you should dwell on the past, but you got to look back and be like, damn, I did this. I'm here. No matter where you are, you're for sure further than where you started, right? So looking back where you came from is super important. Um, Also for me, it's knowing where you're going. You have that goal in mind. So if your goal is to open up this restaurant, or it's to go be a chef in Spain, or it's, you know what I mean? It's knowing that no matter all the hardships you're gonna go through, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. That's super important. We tend to focus a lot on the present, which, live in the present for sure, but know where you're going, know where you came from. Um, that's the way. That's the way for sure. This one comes from Chef Gregory. He's someone I want to have on the show. So Chef, you know, uh, he asks, what do you think of the future of our industry with artificial intelligence coming up? That's an interesting one for real. Um, because it's 50-50. So I know for service, we're already seeing it. There's a restaurant here in Montreal. I don't know the name. I think it's like a Korean barbecue place, but I think they have a robot literally coming out with your food from the kitchens, coming out with your food, and like you know what I mean? Which is if there's something I can see AI doing, it's this. It's like being a server. I'm not saying that a server job is not hard, but to run a plate from here to here, anybody can do that. Now, when we're talking about food, I think it's a little different, because if you're programmed to do this, you have a zucchini, you're programmed to turn it into a small dice or a medium dice. Not all zucchinis are shaped the same. So, are you gonna have? Is it gonna have trouble um, adapting itself to like nature? Do you program that? I don't know, but I don't see how you can, like, this robot can cook a steak perfectly, like a perfect medium rare steak, when steaks vary from all shapes and sizes. You know what I mean? Definitely in the fine dining world, um, I don't see it happening. I don't see AI really having a place there. But if we're talking about a McDonald's where it's fucking dropping fries, or it's flipping burgers, it's flipping patties, or assembling patties, yeah, for sure. I think that's taking over, because it's just easier that way. You know what I mean? It's just like, I always said that the hardest part of managing, it's not the food. It's not making tasty food. It's not making pretty food. Um, it's like having to deal with another human being, because they're so irregular, and they have emotions, and they have, you know what I mean. You cannot control another human. You can control an AI. So I think for fast food places, it's definitely something we're going to be seeing uh, popping up pretty soon. So keep an keep an eye out for that because yeah. Next question comes from my friend Gandhi. He asks, what's my favorite spice or cut of meat right now?" Um, what's my favorite spice? What a weird question, bro. It's not something I think about. I love cumin. I love cooking with cumin. I think cumin is like super gas. Um, Smoked paprika has a special place in my heart. I love smoked paprika. Thyme. Um, yeah, thyme. I love fresh thyme, dude. Oregano. Super fire. My favorite cut of meat. Um, Depends. Favorite to work with. Favorite to eat. I love a strip loin. To be honest with you, um, a nice strip loin is uh you can't beat it, dude. You can take off the fat. You can keep the fat. You can make a lot. You have a lot of choice with the strip loin, so that's really cool. Dry aging, it's a fantastic piece of meat, just all around. I'd say a strip loin. It's pretty fire. Uh, yeah. Okay. Next question. This is an interesting one. Um, it's from my friend Cena, and he says he asked to talk about the effects of alcoholism and drug use in the professional cooking world or the just hospitality actually. Um, this is one that I'm gonna actually have an episode more centered around. But really quick, well, first of all, I don't know what time it is. I'm not an alcoholic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I don't think I'm an alcoholic actually, but you got to understand that we live um a completely different lifestyle than anybody else. Do you know what I mean? The pressure that we're put through on a nightly basis or on a daily basis is is too much. Like realistically, it's too much for like any sane human being is like, I'm not putting myself through this. I'm not working 14 hours a day for 6 days in a row. Like, do you know what I mean? But as a cook, it's just kind of like programmed in your head that like this is what you do. This is the job. Um, so where am I going with this? At the end of your 14-hour day, okay, you have all this energy in your body because you're a night owl. Let's say you work a night shift, so and we're gonna be nice here. We're gonna say you work from 3 to 11. If you work from 3 p.m. to 11, actually you still got time in your day. Okay, let's say you work from 12 to 12, which is shifts that you see a lot, or 10 to 12, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. All this energy in your body at the end of your night, what are you gonna do after work? You're gonna go home and sleep? No. You have all your friends are here. You don't have like your regular friends. You don't have those anymore. Your homies that you know from all of this, you don't have those anymore because you don't have time to see those guys. So who are you with? You're with your brothers from work, from the line, the guys that you go to war with every fucking night. You know what I mean? You guys had a great service. You guys did 450 clients that night. You want to celebrate or you want to reward yourself. Yeah, you're going to go out for a beer. You're going to go out for a beer. And well, any self-respecting person knows that you don't go out for just one beer. That one beer turns to two, the two turns to four, and then little do you know it's 3 a.m. and you just close the bar and you're like, oh fuck, I got work in 7 hours. Oh, well, you go home, you do it all again, and you do it all again, and then you do it all again. What happens then? you're tired. You're super super tired. Um, no. Let's dial it back. It's 3 a.m. You get home. It's 3:45. It's almost 4 a.m. You don't know what to do. You can't sleep. You smoke weed. Now you smoke weed every night to go to bed, or you wake up and you're fucking jittery because you're, I don't know. You gotta smoke. You gotta smoke weed to calm yourself down. I don't know. This is not me personally. I don't, Or what happens is you have work every day at 10 a.m., but you party until 3 a.m. every night. What are you doing to realistically? What are you doing to stay up and party until 3 4 a.m.? You're doing other illicit things that I don't know if I can talk about on YouTube. With I don't know. Um, but there's that booger sugar going around. You know what I mean? People need this. It's like espresso coffee is not enough for you to get through your shift. First of all, if you need that to get through your shift, then like you got a problem, my brother. Get that checked. You know. Um, but yeah, it's just like there's like just like the snowball effect. Like when you start, you're just gonna fucking go down that hill. You need to have a super duper strong mental to do this job because, well, first of all, just through the hardships of the work, you need to, you know what I mean. But then there's the peer pressure. There's all the other stuff that comes with that. Oh, you don't want to come out. You're a fucking pussy. Oh, this guy doesn't like us. People will literally not like you if you're like after work. You want to go home and sleep because you have a big day tomorrow. They're gonna be like, "Yo, this guy doesn't fuck with us. He's not cool." No, 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 no. Which is that's peer pressure. So you gotta seriously watch out for that shit because it can bite you. It can bite you in the butt. Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Um, the last question. I have this in my Google Docs actually, which is not here. Well, I spoke about this one in the beginning of the show. Oh, I fucked up. Oh, oh. That doesn't matter. Um, I spoke about this one more towards the beginning of the show. Someone asked the importance of culinary school. Do you need it? Do you not need it? How does it work? Is it a proper uh view of the restaurant world? I'll say this. First of all, it's super 50-50. You're going to have sorry. You're going to have a bunch of people saying, "Don't go to culinary school. You don't need that shit. Everything that I've learned is in the field." Which sure, fine. You know what I mean? And those guys are normally beasts. Super good. They learn like trial by fire. They just got thrown into the busiest part of the night and they're like, "Yo, keep up." If that's the way you want to learn, fine. Me personally, like I said, since I'm a kid, I love learning why things work the way they work in the kitchen. Why can I not heat this to this temperature? What is the chemical reaction that happens here? Boom, 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 boom. And that's the kind of stuff you learn in culinary school. You learn square, proper. This is the way to do it. You know what I mean? Um, your station, you're gonna have this huge table with like three garbages around you. This is for your compost, this is for your scraps, this is for your this finished products over here. Yes, in a professional world, in a real life setting, this is maybe not a sustainable practice. You don't have the most space in the world. Do you know what I mean? But it teaches you to walk before you run. When you don't go to culinary school, you go straight to restaurants, you hit the ground fucking running. You know what I mean? You're learning everything on the fly. And that's not for me. That's not the way that I want to do things. It's not the way that I think that you should learn. Um, You gotta walk before you run, and that's what it is. Um, Now, like I said, it's a little. It can be surprising to you. It will be surprising to you when you get into a real restaurant after, for example, a service in culinary school. Um, it lasts 2 hours. You guys are you're 20 people in your class, and you got three stations. Okay, you have appetizers, you got mains, you got dessert. So you split up 20 people for those three sections. In the appetizers, you got two dishes. In the mains, you got three dishes. For the desserts, you got two or three, plus you got bread. Still, for 20 people, that is a fucking walk in the park. A 20-person service, you're doing one thing. That one thing is going to be perfect, but you're doing one thing. In real life, you can work two stations, three stations by yourself. Uh, they don't prepare you for that. They don't prepare you for that whatsoever. Um, because they can't. They cannot afford to have one person doing five things, because then your other 19 students are looking for work to do. So that's something you got to keep in mind. After that, you you learn things, like I said, the proper way. You have multiple teachers who are there to watch you and help you grow. Um, Recipes that you keep forever, methods that you keep forever. You know what I mean? If I go ask this guy um, who who did not go to culinary school, like, make me a mayonnaise right now, or make me a fucking, I don't know, a tartar sauce, make me a demi glace, make me a bordelaise sauce. If he hasn't seen this, he's just not gonna know how. Whereas me, you ask me how to make une sauce marchand de vin. Okay, maybe I've never made this sauce before, but I know how to make a demi, and I know the base of the sauce, which means that I could do anything. Make me a pistachio creme brulee. Well, I've never made a pistachio creme brulee, but I've made a regular one, so I know where I'm headed. That's that's what I think about that. I don't think it's not necessary, because people are self-taught and they do very well in the industry, but I think going to school gives you that edge. It really gives you an edge um on your people around you. And also, another misconception about culinary school is that you're only cooking, or you're just every day you're in a kitchen. I've spent maybe half of my culinary school in a classroom, sitting down, writing, taking notes, uh, you know, doing MAPAC exams, doing this, doing that, costing. These guys don't know how to cost. They don't know how to cost for sure. They don't, make me a dish. Yeah, they're gonna make you a dish. They're gonna put lobster, scallops, this, that. A dish that you'd have to sell at like $90 to make profit off of, because they don't know. They don't know. It's a lot more than cooking, and especially if you're in Canada, fucking go for it. What, your culinary school is a year and a half? It's gonna cost you what, $5,000 less? If you're an international student, or you know what I mean. Yeah, it's 20 something K. Maybe you gotta think about it a little bit more, but brother, for me it's a no brainer. Especially if this is something that you want to do, you want to go far in this. Why not put all the eggs in the same basket? You know what I mean? That's how I feel about that. Um, yeah. Do I have another question? I kind of fucked up. Kind of messed up here. Yeah, I messed that up really bad. How'd I do that? feel like I'm like one of those old motherfuckers. Like I just don't know how to operate technology and shit. Um, well, that's it, guys. That's all for today. Um, I don't know how long it was, to be honest, but I hope it wasn't too long. Um, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being honest with me and telling me that I should do an episode like this, where I should introduce myself and my concept and everything. Um, I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed it. If you do, like, share, subscribe. That's lame as fuck. Just keep showing love. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the support. You know what I mean? It really means a lot to me. Next episode, I'm gonna have something special for you guys. So keep on the lookout. I know, like, I only got one problem. I'm gonna be honest with you, is consistency. I think I'm a consistent person in my everyday life, but to do something like this, where it takes setting up, and it takes finding the right time, and it takes editing, and it takes this, with a busy schedule, like, this is super hard to do. Super, like, I had to take a day off of work for this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Consistency in a busy lifestyle is something to. I don't know I don't know where I was going with that. That's neither here nor there. What is here is me. I don't know. I'm getting off track. Thank you guys. I'll see you soon. Much love. Love you. That's that.